And welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to create your first repository on GitHub. Also, I'll be teaching you how to clone your repository, and I'll also be teaching you how to create your file and folder on VS Code. So let's dive into the job. So the first thing you want to do is go to GitHub by just saying github.com, and this is going to take you to your GitHub profile just like this. And the next thing you want to do is to click on this plus sign. Once you click on it, you're going to see this is going to pop, and you're going to click on new repository. So, and that is going to take you to another page that is going to pop up now. Yes, this. And what you want to do is to give this repository you want to create. I'm going to give it a name. You can give it any name, but for this class, we're going to call it Git Basics. And okay, now I intentionally did this so that you can know that whenever you have a repository that has this particular name, it's going to tell you that this repository already exists. So you want to make sure that you name your repository a name that you don't have on your repository already. So I have this on my repo, so that's why I'm saying it already exists on this account. So I'm going to give it another name. I'm going to say git basic underscore intro. I want git basics underscore intro. So, and the next thing I'm going to do is to give it a description, although it's optional, but like want anybody that visit this repository or see this repository to understand what you have inside your repository. So I advise you always give your repository a description. So when say this is an introduction class to Git. I just say that, and the next thing you want to do, I should add a README file, because this README file is going to display what I've just put in my description box. But I'm just going to do something. I'm not going to add the README file, so you can see what we're going to have there. If I had the README file and what we're going to have there if I did not have a README file. So I'm going to create my repository here. And now this is what we have. And if you refresh, there is nothing inside, and all you have is this. So the next thing we're going to do is to go to our VS Code, and we want to clone our repository. Now, to clone your repository, as I said, I'm teaching you the simplest way. You're going to press Ctrl Shift P, and this comes up. Can you see that? You see Git clone. So I'm going to click on Git clone. Then I'm going to say clone from GitHub, and the last repository I just created will be shown, and also all my repository will come up. But I'm going to click on this last repository because this is the one I want to clone. So, and it's going to ask me to select a location on my local machine. So I want to select my desktop. I want this repository to be on my desktop, and here we go. And I'm going to click on open. But the other thing you can do is you can open in a new window, and you can also add it to the workspace we have here. But I want to open it on a fresh window. I don't want anything to be there. So and this is going to come up, and I'm going to show you my window. So this is the file I just created. Um, as you can see, Git intro basics. So let's go back to our VS Code, and unknowingly to me while I was recording, I didn't know it has stopped. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to show you how I created everything. Let me just delete this. Of course, you just learn how to delete your folder and your file. Okay, so to create your folder, you're going to click on this, and as you can see new folder. So you're going to click on it, and I'm going to call it HTML underscore basics, because I want to put my HTML file inside. And to create my file now, I'm just going to like click on this, and I'm going to say, as you can see, this is going to show me that it's a new file. I don't know why it's not popping up. Show me, yeah, like this. Can you see that new file? So I'm just going to say index.html. But also, I would like to let you know that as you can create multiple files as much as you want. So if I click on this again, if I do that, I want to be sure I'm creating the file inside this list. So as you can see, when I close it, I can't see my HTML. That means it's inside this folder. So I want to create another file inside this same folder. So I'm going to say style.css. Now we have this. Now we can start working. So the next thing we want to do is to create our umbrella page. And how do we do that? If you watch the previous video, I've teach you guys how to turn on your Emmet and set up your VS Code to make life easier for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say shift exclamation. And once I press shift exclamation, this comes up, and then as you can see, Emmet abbreviation. So I just click on tab, and then I'm good to go. So the next thing I want to do is just create H1. I'm just going to say welcome, and I'm going to open it with my lifesaver. As you remember, I asked you to install that as well. So, and if you open it with the lifesaver, it's going to open it for you in your browser. So this is what we have on our screen now. We just use our lifesaver to open what we just did in our HTML file. So the next thing we want to do is this thing that we've just done. Let me delete this CSS because I actually don't need it. I just want you to know you can create multiple files inside your folder or anywhere in your VS Code. So the next thing we want to do is to push this work to our GitHub repository and to add this file to our GitHub repository as well. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is want to check the status of your Git repository. So as you can see, it says no commit yet on track files. So as you can see, I have added this inside I've just created this folder inside my Git basic intro, but it's saying that on track file. So in order to add this file inside my Git basic intro, all I need to do is just say git add and press enter. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to check my Git status again to see if my files and my folders have been added. And you can see it has turned green. That means I've added this file and this folder and this file. I've added it to my GitHub repository. So the next thing is I need to write a commit message, and I'm going to say git commit and I'm going to say my first commit. I'm going to click on enter. And then the next thing I want to do is to push my work to the repository. I'm just going to say git push new origin me. There we go. Now, once you see this 100%, it means you are 100% done. Yeah, basically, I don't want to say much. So we are done, and the next thing we want to do is to check our GitHub repository. Remember the last time when we refreshed this page, there was nothing inside. So let's refresh again. And as you can see, we have our HTML folder, just like we have it in our VS Code. We have it inside our GitHub repository. And if you click on this, you're going to see your index.html. So to be sure that this is what we actually have on our VS Code, that we also have on our GitHub repository. If you scroll down, you see it's the same thing. Remember, I created each one, and you can see we have our welcome. So that's what the next thing I'm going to show you is how to create a README file. And as you can see, it said help people interested in this repository understand your project by adding a README. So I told you the description you gave your repository the other time is going to be displayed under your README. So you want people that visit this page, or people that have that have the link to this repository, to understand what you have inside the repository. And if you remember, I said this is an introduction to Git, and as you can see, there's actually change there. So all you need to do is come down here and commit new file, and it's going to save it. If you have any other thing that you need to add to this repository, all you need to do is to click on this, and you can edit it, and you can actually add other things. If you have other things to add, you can type inside, and everything will be there. And the next thing you want to do is to commit the changes as usual, and you're done. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.